Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Scale My Ecom Store podcast. I'm your host, Kath Langman, and I'm really excited to be back with part two today of our two-part mini-series on what to do and avoid doing to boost your e-commerce sales in 2024. Now, if you haven't listened to last week, definitely get onto that first and then come back to this one, as the content is designed to pretty much step you through in the right order. And if you have listened to last week's, I really hope you've done your homework. So this week, I am diving into 3 specific business and marketing strategies that you should be implementing right now if your sales revenues have plateaued or declined this year, or just, if you're really starting to find that your marketing isn't necessarily getting the results in the same way that it used to, and you know that you have to change things up a little bit. Again, there will be some actionable advice in this episode that you'll be able to take advantage of and implement into your own business. So let's dig into part 2 of what to do and avoid doing to boost your e-commerce sales in 2024. All right, so a few ideas there to help you with maintaining a positive mindset. That will absolutely help you in your business endeavors. But let's also talk about some practical strategies that you can implement to help you grow your business at the moment. And step number 1 here, you have to start with essential stuff. And I want to talk here about on-site conversion rate optimization tactics. This kind of goes as an extension of the website navigation that I was talking about before. Listening back to that previous episode as well. But before you jump into any other creative marketing tactics like spending money on new ad campaigns or launching new products or whatever, before you go into anything else like that to boost sales, your first step has to be to go back to basics and ensure that your website is optimized for conversions. It's a little bit like if you were a brick and mortar retail store. You're going to make sure that your shop, is really inviting. You've changed out the windows and made them look super attractive and showcasing the right stuff, and you're drawing customers in from outside the store, and then it's well laid out in store so that customers can find what they want easily, and your best sellers are really prominent and all of this sort of stuff, right? Your website is the most important tool that you have as an online seller. It serves as your virtual storefront. It showcases your products to the world. And with a well-designed and optimized website, you literally have the potential to reach a global audience of customers and drive sales 24/7. So improving your website's overall content can definitely impact user engagement. It can impact conversion rates, add to cart rates, conversion rates, and the overall customer experience as well. Like, you really want your customers to enjoy shopping from you rather than it just being a, must-have boring experience that is completely unmemorable. So a few things to consider. You definitely want to create really compelling product pages. So from your imagery, from your product titles, don't give it an obscure name that means something to you but not to anyone else. Product descriptions, don't just be super practical about describing the features of it. Write detailed and persuasive product descriptions that really communicate the value of each product. That product value statement is critical. Always think about, like, from your customer's perspective, what's in it for me with them. Try and use descriptive and emotive language there as well. And trying to break up the, if there's quite a lot of information to communicate, break it up into tabs so that it is very easy to for the consumer to read and take in the written word. Lots of people struggle with the written word these days. And particularly when you think about the mobile experience on your website, you can't have really long blocks of copy. You definitely want to make sure that your imagery is really high quality. Same with video as well. But, I have seen several websites lately that have very pixelated images, which they may have done as an effort to reduce the image file sizes. But if the image then ends up super pixelated and basically it makes your stuff look super cheap and not very good, not to mention people can't actually zoom in and see it clearly. So you definitely want to make sure you're presenting things really, really, really well, really clearly. Creating that clear navigation and site structure we've already spoken about, but just bottom line is ensure that your website is clear and has an intuitive navigation structure. Is going to help customers find what they want as quickly as possible and without requiring them to expend too many brain calories to figure that out. And if you do have a really large product range, then you're going to probably need to get a mega menu in place, really good filtering, search bar, all of that kind of stuff. Just ways to streamline that user experience and minimize confusion and frustration. Feature your customer feedback, customer reviews, ratings, all of that social proof good stuff. This can be particularly helpful when you are trying to attract new customers to buy from you, particularly if your customers are in their reviews, they're mentioning things like really great customer service or, whatever else is your zone of genius and that you do really well. If your customers are valuing that and they're talking about it in their reviews, that's fantastic, because social proof is really good at helping build trust and confidence with your potential customers. Then offering multiple payment options. This might be something to review from time to time. And, at the end of the day, you just want to have a little bit of flexibility here so that your customers have, they can find their preferred payment option there, whether it's Apple Pay, a buy now, pay later option, Google Pay, PayPal, etc. So, you can end up helping to increase conversions by just making it super easy for customers to purchase from their preferred method. But also remember to choose reputable and secure payment providers. Make that information really prominently displayed in the payment options area and easy to use as well. Now, if you're on Shopify, of course, it's going to be easy to use. Next, optimize your site and shopping experience for mobile. At the moment, over 70% of e-commerce website traffic is now, for most businesses, coming from mobile devices, but cart abandonment rates are actually nearly 10% higher on mobile compared to desktop. So those trends should tell you that having an optimized shopping experience for mobile is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. And if you haven't really comprehensively reviewed your own shopping experience in the last year or 2 years, then you really ought to go through it yourself on mobile, but also, see if you can observe a customer or a potential customer, go through your shopping experience on their mobile and just don't give them any prompts, see what they do. A few ways that you can optimize for mobile is, of course, make sure that you're using a responsive theme that automatically adjusts the layout and content based on the screen size of the user's device. But also there are elements of that you should customize for mobile versus desktop and have versions, for example, of menu that show only on desktop or only on mobile. Ensure that your navigation, especially if you have a really big navigation, is really, really easy to navigate on mobile. Too many times, even these days, I'm seeing menus that are unwieldy when viewed on mobile devices, and they just make it too hard for customers to find what they want. Again, optimizing the product pages. You've got to make sure all of these pages are loading quickly enough, but they still have, clear, high res imagery. Things are properly sized. All of that kind of stuff. And that people don't have to scroll for a million miles to find the add to cart button, because then people will think, oh, I can't even get it. Use large and prominent call to action buttons that, ideally have a contrasting color as well, so that it's really easy to see and to tap with a finger. You make sure everything for mobile needs to pass the squint test. So, if you squint your eyes and you're just trying to, restrict your vision a little bit, can you still see where you need to click? And then just a final note for mobile optimization is also to make sure that you're optimizing your pop-up opt-in forms for mobile as well. So yeah, again, if you haven't really thoroughly reviewed your website on mobile in the last year, definitely time to do that, and go and look at some other really high converting websites. It doesn't have to be just in your niche, but try and keep an eye out for what's the latest mobile design, usability trends, and other ways that you can make your mobile users' experience on your website better. Next, showcase your top-selling items. Like I mentioned earlier, if you walk into a physical store, you're going to see items on display when you enter. Most likely they're going to be the most popular products, and you want to do that on your website as well. So featuring your top-selling products in plain sight. There's a couple of ways, a couple of reasons why this can help boost sales. Number one, you're giving a starting point for new visitors to begin shopping without feeling like they have no way to start, or maybe feeling overwhelmed by lots of choices. Secondly, it taps into the psychology of social proof, where prospective customers instinctively trust what others have already validated. Thirdly, when customers realize popular items are flying off the shelf, then they often experience that FOMO and want to buy it too. It inspires site visitors to make an impulse purchase, so maybe they came for a certain item and then they saw a featured really popular product and they bought that as well. And it shrinks the time and effort required for a visitor to reach the checkout process. If the best-selling products are front and center, the checkout is only a couple of clicks away. And bottom line is, when customers see your top sellers front and center, it's going to help with their confidence and their decision to buy. And at the end of the day, we want to make that purchase decision as easy as possible at the moment. Step 2, strategic marketing strategies to increase e-commerce sales. Now, in this step, you are going to be more intentional with the tactics and strategies that you use to increase sales. Now, before we get into it, I need to just kind of put a caveat here and say, with marketing online for any kind of business, but certainly for e-commerce at the moment, you need to be nimble. You need to be prepared to test and try things and let the data inform you about what your customers are responding to or not, and also to expect to have to keep putting effort into this, because the lifetime of a marketing campaign is not indefinite. So, this is always like an iterative approach, right? But a few ideas for you if you haven't already done these. So firstly, you can use or implement exit intent pop-ups. These are helpful to increase conversions and boost sales. And in simple terms, an exit intent pop-up appears on a shopper's screen when they seem likely that they're about to leave your website. And the goal of the pop-up is to make the shopper an offer before they leave, to encourage them to purchase from you. Now, using my favorite tool, Klaviyo, you can show a different exit intent pop-up based on whether the visitor is already subscribed to your database or not. You can also even show a different pop-up depending on whether they've just abandoned their cart versus just browsing. So making the pop-up a lot more relevant to the visitor, right? Which is, important, considering many visitors aren't a fan of pop-ups. And so, you really want to try and execute them in the right way. Some guidelines for your pop-up. Copy-wise, your pop-up should have a really clear message of value to your shoppers. Don't just say, get 10% off, sign up to get 10% off and stay in the loop to receive new product, news about new products or offers or whatever the bulk standard pop-up copy has been in the past. Don't do that. Make it relevant to your stuff. With the call to action, make sure that stands out and is, again, really clear to understand, and use actionable language to motivate your shopper to convert. Image-wise, pick an image that's going to relate to your shopper. So don't use something that's really obscure or irrelevant. And then finally, like I mentioned before, make sure you've got a version for desktop and mobile. One should be landscape, the other should be portrait. Next, I want to talk a little bit about personalization, because personalization really is becoming future-oriented, and being able to utilize the AI tools, tech tools that we have now at our fingertips is, it can be quite transformational. And so if personalization really isn't one of your quivers in your, oh man, I'm going to butcher that analogy. If you're not using personalization yet, then you are already behind the curveball. We definitely suggest that you try and catch up quickly, because in 2024, personalization is becoming more vital as customers' expectations become a lot more intricate. 65% of customers now expect companies to adapt to their changing needs and preferences. So what does this mean for your e-commerce business? So firstly, it means you can't simply focus on who your customers are right now. It's about predicting who they're going to become and anticipating their future needs and how your brand can fulfill those needs. Do we have a crystal ball? Not quite, but with the right tech stack, in particular, using tools with built-in AI capabilities, you'll be pretty close. So you would definitely want to try and consolidate and integrate your tech apps where possible, as this is going to allow you to collect data at every touch point, which you can then use to take actionable insights that will elevate your brand. Now, how do you achieve advanced personalization? Basically, it involves a little bit of a blend of a strategic blend of technology and insight and intelligence. So a bit of a guide to help you navigate this landscape. So you definitely need to be collecting zero-party data. I want you to be doing that with Klaviyo for e-commerce. So start by using platforms like Klaviyo to collect your zero-party data directly from your customers. This data is absolute gold. And it's going to tell you about their preferences, their interests, and also with the AI capabilities of Klaviyo now and the more advanced and sophisticated analytics and the predictive capabilities, it's going to tell you about your customers' future intentions. And with a solid Klaviyo setup, you are literally sitting on a gold mine. You can use Klaviyo for really deep segmentation by importing all the valuable data into Klaviyo as, with all of your profile properties. You can do some pretty sophisticated segmentation of your list and your automated email flows. And like I was suggesting before, you can have segment based on with your pop-ups based on, are they subscribed, not subscribed? What actions did they just take on the website? All kinds of stuff. You can consider segmenting your audience based on their interactions, their preferences, their purchase history, and, their predictive likelihood to purchase XYZ next or by certain timeframes. So, to ensure that each email speaks directly to each customer. And additionally, you can use dynamic content blocks as well within Klaviyo emails to further tailor your communication, whether it's product recommendations or content tailored to each recipient's interests. These blocks make each email feel personally crafted for the reader, and that absolutely increases the click rate and conversion rate from your email marketing. And of course, you can extend personalization to the campaigns as well. It doesn't just stop with flows. So applying these principles to your broader email campaigns is going to, be a lot more engaging and action taking a lot more effectively. Next, I want to talk about enhancing brand authenticity and trust. Now, unfortunately, there's plenty of shopper fraud and online scams as well, and fears that, lots of us have fears about accidentally purchasing a counterfeit product or a dupe. But, also with all of the variety of AI tools at our fingertips, good old ChatGPT and all the other things that are around, it's also, all of us know that maybe that article I'm reading was written by a machine. Should I engage with that? Should I trust that image? So it is more important than ever to try and build and highlight the authenticity and trustworthiness of your brand. There are a few ways you can do that. Is to leverage user-generated content by encouraging your customers to share their experiences with their products on social media. Obviously that's, providing social proof, but it's also really helping to humanize your brand. So whether it's like unboxing style videos or lifestyle photos of your customers showcasing your products in real life scenarios, or testimonial videos, or whatever, demonstrate product demos. Also utilizing brand reps and micro influencers, even nano influencers, these sorts of influencers that, have much smaller but highly engaged audiences, can really help to lend a sense of authenticity and personal recommendation that can resonate really well with people online. And of course, their endorsement can help serve as a powerful trust signal. Now, the important thing here to remember is that a lot of the time, that kind of content is stuff that you will then need to use in your own ads and other marketing in order to capitalize and get value from it, as in, people purchasing from you. The content itself is more about that brand awareness and engagement and trust and all of that kind of stuff. And then, of course, back to highlighting customer reviews and testimonials, super, super important. And then any other trust indicators that you can showcase, whether it's well-known stockists, media mentions, publications where you've been featured, awards that you may have received, anything along those lines that might help with trust building. And then lastly, I want to talk about the need to respond to reviews, especially negative ones. So, demonstrating that you take customer concerns really seriously and that you are proactive about resolving issues can significantly boost trust amid your customers. And then I want to move on to step 3. So just, before I do so, just, really trying to make sure that you do commit to quality and reliability and, being really having integrity and being, finding ways to showcase that to your audience. It can't just be you saying it as the brand owner, or the brand itself. It has to be other people saying this about you as well. So if you haven't built any of those sorts of activities into your marketing, then you definitely need to get on it. Step number 3, strategies and tactics to dramatically boost e-commerce sales. Now, this is probably the bit in the episode that you've been waiting for, so hopefully you're still with me. I will preempt this by saying there is no kind of magic button that you can push to boost your sales revenue. So the word of warning here is that none of these sales boosting strategies will be quite as effective if you're not also implementing the other things that I've already mentioned. Okay. So first one I'm going to mention is using scarcity to create FOMO and to help improve conversions. Scarcity is a tactic that has worked for a long time for retailers because it really helps to create, that sense of urgency for customers to make a purchase before something, either goes out of stock or the offer expires. And it is a well battle-tested tactic that does help to drive higher sales, boost conversion rates, and generate hype around whatever promo that you're running. The key here is that you can't always package it up in the same way, because then it loses its potency. So, again, I was having a conversation around this with a client this morning, and, we were having the conversation that's like, it's okay for you to reuse an incentive more than once, but you package it up in different ways so that it is relevant to the moment. And when I say package it up, and it's like, is there some seasonal messaging that you can put together around the incentive? Or is it, a end of financial year versus Black Friday, or whatever the case may be? But then don't just use the same incentive for all your other promos through the year. You're going to have to find different ways to do it. One of my favorite skincare brands put out a promo recently that, because we're coming into our colder weather here, of course, and they did this fantastic promo where, you could buy any full-sized, full-priced product from like their bestsellers range, and you'd also get a free product that is super relevant to the winter season. And, really, kind of, they were able to really talk about what happens. This is a skincare brand, so what happens to the skin when it's cold weather, and this, that, and the other. And so, it's a type of promo incentive that they've used time and time again, but they were able to really present it in a different way. So a few ways you can use scarcity is your limited time or time-based offers. So highlighting, the availability of your products by showcasing the remaining stock or limited time offers, like only 5 left in stock or limited time 24 hours only. You could run little flash sales and daily deals. I know over the years, one of my favorite online fashion retailers, Bird's Nest, they would occasionally, and others do this too, but occasionally it would be like this weekend only free express shipping or a flash sale or something like that, and that always worked. You definitely need to clearly communicate the start and end times for those sorts of things. Exclusive offers for VIP customers. So that can work exceptionally well. Obviously, you can do that if you have a membership, like a loyalty program. But you can also do this using Klaviyo as well, where you can, create segments based on different tiers of spend throughout the year. So if somebody goes into, like, say, the bronze tier, they've spent a certain dollar amount in the year, and then, they would receive one kind of exclusive offer. Or at the silver tier, they might have spent, reached another spend threshold in the year, and so on and so forth. Limited edition or seasonal products, that's a really great way to communicate exclusivity and time-limited availability and create a sense of urgency, and can really help motivate customers to buy now to avoid missing out on a really unique item. Pre-order and waiting list. So if you're launching a new product or restocking a really, really popular item that's currently out of stock, offer customers the option to pre-order, maybe get free shipping if they pre-order or something along those lines. And again, highlighting a limited availability and, creating that sense of urgency and exclusivity can really help there. And then the last thing, that we can mention here again, social proof and testimonials, and incorporating that to highlight the popularity and positive experiences of your products can really help. I remember last year, I think it was last year, with True Protein's Black Friday sale, they used their brand reps and customers for their user-generated content and their testimonial type content exceptionally well within their brand Black Friday campaign. Next is advertising on social media platforms to, bring new people in, and also to retarget your warm audiences, people who've already been browsing your website and adding products to cart. And those people, they're actually 70% more likely to buy from you when they're retargeted with those ads. And it's adding the familiarity with your brand, and they've shown intent to buy from you if you're showing it to those people that have viewed the products and added them to their cart but they haven't purchased yet. So don't wait for them to come back. Definitely show those retargeting ads. But if you wanted to really help convert them, you can build in a limited time offer on that. Perhaps reiterate whatever you offer in your abandoned cart flow. And encouraging those cart abandoners to complete their purchase is really critical. I mean, we're doing it with email marketing, of course. You can definitely build SMS marketing into those automated flows in Klaviyo, but then also having that offer and the content showing on retargeting ads to those people is really, really effective. You can also offer discount codes to encourage purchases. I'm sure I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, but again, when you're using discounts and incentives, try and packaging it up in different ways so that it's relevant for the moment. Again, like if it's seasonal, or if it's new product, or if, I guess we are coming up to end of financial year sales here, or mid-year sales. But try not to use language that everybody else is going to be using, because it's going to be pretty hard to get the cut through. So, really put a little bit of thought in there, because overall, you just really want to keep your audience and your website visitors engaged, and, remind them about the amazing products that you have, and in particular, the products that they've shown interest in. And so that's, ways to bring new customers in, but then also celebrating your existing customer base is incredibly important as well. And before I move on with that, I just want to recommend that the majority of your ad spend these days should be focused on acquiring new customers as opposed to bringing your existing customers back. You want to be using Klaviyo to get the most value out of your existing customer base and use Klaviyo to bring those repeat customers back. Because if you can do it, if you can do it that way around, then you will not, you're going to be more profitable because you're not actually spending your ad budgets on customers that are likely to buy from you already. Now, most e-commerce business owners still, particularly if you have noticed a bit of a plateau with your sales, or you're finding that, your audience just aren't reacting to marketing in the same way and they're not converting as consistently. The common reaction to that from business owners is to really keep focusing hard on converting new customers and just targeting new customers and ignoring the opportunities to increase revenue with your existing customers. And that's a really big mistake. So I don't want you to be one of those online store owners. I want you to be celebrating and loving on your existing customers, and working to maximize the lifetime value of the customers that you do have, not to the exclusion of running ads and doing the marketing that helps to acquire new customers. You just need to be doing both. The fact remains is, yes, ad costs are higher, profit margins are slimmer. If you want to be able to grow profitably, you have to maximize that customer lifetime value. So you can't just rely on new customers and thrive and grow. So a few ways that you can really celebrate your existing customers and increase that loyalty is, number one, create a loyalty program so that, your customers can collect points or redeem it. Or like I said before, use Klaviyo. There's plenty that you can do within Klaviyo to really cultivate and encourage the customer recency and frequency. So using, starting by creating those segments, like I mentioned before, and then when somebody joins that segment, you can trigger an automated flow with a gift voucher or something along those lines. Offer existing customers early access to sales. They're much more likely to buy when they feel like a VIP. Send them a free gift on their birthday and a discount code to treat themselves to something really nice in your store. Anything like that you can do to make your existing customers happy. You're going to get a lot of, there's just so many benefits for you as a business owner. Obviously, happy customers are more likely to return again and again. They're more likely to recommend you to their family and friends. They're more likely to share their experiences as well, like on social media. They're more likely to leave you a glowing review, which is going to, of course, help you to attract new customers. Now, this strategy of loving on your existing customer base seems a bit obvious, but it's actually one that a lot of e-commerce stores forget when they're focused on increasing sales. Particularly, if you find yourself in the boat of, I know Kath says I should send another email newsletter or an EDM. I don't know what to put in my email campaign, so I'm just not going to do it. Don't overlook it, all right? So using these strategies, it's really going to help you to increase your sales. Again, like I hinted at before, you can't just jump straight to marketing tactics to boost your sales right now. You've got to do that other foundational stuff as well. But hopefully, out of all of these suggestions for increasing your e-commerce sales right now, even if you are experiencing low or slow sales, hopefully there's some ideas that you know that you can implement and know that you need to do that work in your own business. Now, remember, while each tactic is great, they will perform best when combined together. So today, I want you to start with the tactics in step one and then keep adding the other tactics into the mix. And regardless of the state of the market we're operating in right now, you will see your sales revenue and your profitability start to really improve. So, question for you, what do you want to achieve in your business in 2024? Maybe close your eyes for a minute and, just imagine yourself in 12 months' time. Do you picture yourself doing the same thing that you are right now? Or do you picture yourself maybe experiencing something bigger or different or better in some way? And if you are in the second camp there and you really want to create some different results in the future, I do want to remind you that if you book in for a strategy session with us, which is free, an e-commerce growth strategy session, then you can receive a free brand growth plan. So when you book in for a free strategy session with us, we actually complete an audit and an analysis of your current performance, and we prepare a personalized brand growth plan to help you achieve your goals. Now, this piece of work is actually valued at $1,000. We do this for free with the right prospects before you decide to work with us or not. And when I say the right prospects,